What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I jumped on that one. All right, today we have a very interesting review for you. It is a Sightmark. It is the Ultra Shit M-Spec. Now, I got to tell you a very quick story because I think it's very, very relevant. When I was asked if I wanted to do this review, I nicely said, no, thank you. I thought Ultra Shit made super budget-friendly airsoft type optics. And when I looked up the price of this guy, it came in at $200. And it is night vision compatible. When I saw that, I was like, all right, Sightmark's playing in a different field than I thought they were. And I've reviewed many other sub $200 optics, so I think it's worth to take a look at it. And I don't want to assume that it's junk without taking a look at it. That's not fair. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the features very, very quickly. And then I really want to spend more time talking about the testing, the pros and the cons, because with this optic, I think that's a lot more important. If I go through the features too quick and you have a specific question, feel free to drop it down in the comments. All right, so it's a reflex sight, kind of similar and somewhat to the Holosun 510, 512. It does have a decent quick detach mount here on the bottom, so it's very easy. I had this on several rifles, not just the 22 you see here. We had it on an actual AR-15, but very, very quick and easy to swap from one gun to the other. Now, the body is made from magnesium. A lot of these are made from aluminum. I'm not sure why this is magnesium. I believe magnesium is more expensive than aluminum, but I think it can bend easier than aluminum, like it's not as strong. So I'm not a metallurgist, so if I'm wrong, someone please correct me in the comments. Your windage and elevation adjustments are very, very standard, very, very easy. One's on the top, one's on the side. Now, they are slightly tactile, so you can kind of feel those clicks, but they are not audible at all. You cannot hear them. It is 1 MOA adjustment per click. Now, one of the more unique things is this hood that this optic has. I'm going to call it a sunshade that retracts back and forth and kind of acts almost like a closed emitter, almost, not quite. I kind of think the hood's silly. We'll get into that more in a little bit. Everything I read said the hood was aluminum, but this is plastic. So, sorry, a chipmunk just ran by me. So, I don't know. Before we continue, I do have a sponsor of the video. It is Blackout Coffee. It's 8 o'clock in the morning at the range. I'm all alone. Can't shoot until 9. And the only reason I have this energy and I can form words is because of Blackout Coffee. High quality, delicious, made in the States. If you try it, you're gonna get hooked. I'm warning you now. Discount code and link is down in the video description. It is very, very tasty. All right, let's move on to the controls. Controls are very simple to figure out. You have a power for on and off. You have up, down, and brightness, and a night vision button. When you hit that button, it switches it to a night vision mode. For you people who don't know, you do need the night vision goggles or some sort of night vision device for the night vision mode to work. If you turn it on night vision and look through, you're not going to see anything with your bare eyes. But what's next? What's next? Battery life. So it has between a 200 and a 2,000 hour battery life, depending on the setting, the brightness setting that you have it on. If I forgot to say it a second ago, it has 10 brightness settings from low all the way up and down to high. So the battery life isn't great. Again, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but like the Holosun I mentioned, a lot of those Holosuns, instead of having a 2,000 battery life, have 20,000, 50,000. Some high-end optics have 100,000, so not a great battery life, unfortunately. I will say that the dot, the reticle in there, has some good things going on. One, it is bright as hell. I mean, one of the brightest red dots I have ever seen. You have a 2 MOA dot in the middle, and you have a big circle around it that is 60 MOA. On that circle, you have a few little lines, stratia lines, whatever they're called. I don't care. It makes it 65 MOA. So technically, it's a 2 MOA dot with a 65 MOA circle around it, depending on what you're looking at. I will also give credit that besides the dot itself, being very, very crisp, it is super clear glass, super clear glass, and the field of view is huge. The window in the field of view is enormous. I had a lot of my friends look at this optic because I didn't know what to think of it, a Sightmark for $200, and I wanted to get a few new shooters' opinions and a few experienced shooters' opinions. And that's something they all said. While that reticle, that dot is super bright, even on the sunniest of days, and the field of view is huge. It's absolutely enormous field of view. It does have an auto shut off after 12 hours, turns off, which is good with the limited battery life, and you can turn that feature off if you don't want it. A couple more quick things about it. Waterproof down to 40 feet, which is much more than most. The side battery compartment here takes a CR123. It is tethered so you don't lose the battery door, and yeah, that's as simple as that in the battery compartment. It does have a lifetime warranty for you. Like I said, it comes in around $200. It is 10 ounces and it's roughly 4 inches by 2 inches by 2 inches. All right, that is the features of this red dot. Let's talk about testing really quick. So I put about 500 rounds with this red dot on this 22 rifle. We had a employee, I worked for Roscoe Manufacturing, we had an employee shoot. We had a lot of new employees, a lot of kids, and this gun got about 500 rounds between that and the little bit of shooting I did the other day. Like I said, it's also spent time on a few other rifles as well, a few real AR-15s, total about 200 rounds through an AR-15. I put it on a 10.3 primary arms rifle. I put it on a 16-inch next gen rifle, and that is the extent of what rifles it was on. And I will give it credit right away. No issues, no problems, no hiccups, good to go. I did not submerge it 40 feet, but I did tie a string to it and I threw it down the bottom of my pool. My pool is about 9 feet, and I left it there for several hours and I didn't have any issues with it then. The last testing thing I did is I did look through it with my nods. I did not shoot under night vision or low light with it, but I did look, and I will give credit. It's a pretty crispy dot under nods. I was pleasantly surprised for $200 how good that red dot looked. All right, let's talk about the pros first and be positive, because unfortunately there's a lot more cons than there is pros. Huge field of view. Field of view is enormous. It's a very, very big window. It has a lifetime warranty. It's waterproof. The auto shut off, the red dot, the reticle in there is extremely bright. So those are a few things that I like about the red dot. As far as cons, compared to its competition in the similar price range, it's not quite there. The battery life is terrible compared to a lot of the competition. I don't like the 1 MOA adjustments. Not only do I wish they were half MOA, I could live with that, but the clicks are not very good. They're not very audible, and they're slightly tactile. The controls on the side, while the controls I don't mind, they're fine, they're basic, they're simple. When you have this rifle slung, and especially if you have like a plate carrier on or something, it's pushing up against that plate carrier. And there was a couple times where I had my rifle slung and I brought it up and the dot was off. I'm like, what was that? And I figured out that the buttons got pushed up against my plate carrier, and that's no good, especially if you're using this for some sort of self-defense. That's just not good. It's definitely bigger and heavier than a lot of its competitors. This hood here is just silly. I could do without the hood. And even though it looks good under nods, I don't understand why the night vision compatibility is on there. Like, if someone's going to spend several $1,000s for a set of night vision, and $1,000 for a laser aiming device, and a couple $100s for a helmet, and a couple $100s for a mount, and whatever other Gucci gear you need to go with it, I don't recommend you skimp and get a budget-friendly optic. If you're that into shooting, get something high quality. So in my opinion, with this optic, I would rather get rid of that sunshade, get rid of the night vision compatibility, and whatever that saves Sightmark, bring that price down, do something with the battery life, and I think they would have a pretty decent optic here. Because I watched a ton of reviews, I read a ton of blog articles on this. I mean, I spent a lot of time researching this thing, and people make a lot of complaints about the optic, very similar ones to what I made, but no one really complains about the durability. Like, I saw people dropping it 20, 30 feet and freezing it and shooting it with birdshot and a whole bunch of other things, and the thing held up. So I don't think durability is an issue. Aesthetics are definitely an issue. It's an ugly optic. But I think, I'm gonna say this, overall, it was a lot nicer than I expected. I came into this review with very, very low expectations. Do I think it's a better value than a SIG red dot or primary arms red dot or primary arms prism, even better? A Hollis and red dot? No. For this price range, I would recommend you stick with one of those. But again, I think the durability is there. It's just a couple features and aesthetics that need to change, and then, you know, maybe Sightmark will have a decent optic. Again, I didn't have any issues. I just want to stress that it was good to go there, but I do prefer the Hollis and the SIG, the primary arms, any of that. Now, this might be kind of weird, but Sightmark did send me a discount code. Hopefully, Sightmark is open for a little constructive criticism. I hope they don't mind. Again, it's much better than I expected, but not quite there. And just because I didn't like this optic doesn't mean this one or another Sightmark optic isn't right for you. This is just my opinion, and my opinion is no more valid than yours. So if you are going to pick anything up from Sightmark, there is a discount code. It's TIB, it's TIB. If you want to get anything from them, use that discount code. Sightmark gets a sale, you get a discount, I get a small kickback. Everyone's happy. But do me a favor, if you do go ahead and use that code, come back and tell me what you think of the optic. Tell me if you agree, you disagree, if you got a different one, whatever. Come back, let me know what you think, and I always love hearing different people's opinions. Thanks again to Sightmark for sending. It was very, very nice of them to send it. And again, I hope they don't mind a little constructive criticism. If they do, oh well. Let me remind you of the sponsor of the video. It is Blackout Coffee. My second cup of coffee of the day, and thank the Lord, because I wouldn't be able to form these words. Most important, thank you guys for watching. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. If you think I deserve it, do all of those awesome things that I always ask you to do. Like the video, comment on the video. Those things really help the algorithms. More important, if you think I deserve it, subscribe to the channel, enable the bell notifications. If you do choose to do any of those things really help me out, and I definitely appreciate it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace!